Hello, y'all. Caliber here. I got many names. You put respect to each and every one of those names. I'm going to keep this short. We're going to talk about the pivot. How Marvel Studios pivot away from Kang, Dynasty to Doomsday. Avengers Doomsday. Um, my response to the pivot is black people, I think we need to pivot away from Marvel's. I'm sorry. We need to pivot away from Disney's ass. I think we need to pivot away from Disney's ass. Um, I think that they feel they can sell us anything and treat stars any kind of way, and we'll buy it and go along with it. And I think a lot of their talent at Disney is suffering in silence. I think they're probably not getting paid the amount of money they should, be getting paid. I think that they're not experiencing the fruition of their art and their passion the way they should. That there are lower glass ceilings for these artists. Because now that I've seen what they've done with Jonathan Majors, it kind of makes me ask the question, now, is there anybody else in the House of Mouse who is quietly being mistreated? Keep in mind, the pivot happened because of the optics of Jonathan Majors. The optics. How does it look? How does it look? Well, actually, if you had stood by Jonathan Majors through his appeal process and his process right now, we would have discussed, that word he was labeled with. I call it label. They call it a charge. Unintentional. That was plain as day. But rather than for Disney to have a press conference and discuss unintentional reckless assault and break it down to the public what it means, Disney rolled back. And here's something else. Everybody said, oh, Disney said he was innocent until proven guilty. That's a load of crap. They were just they had their poker face on. Okay, they playing cards with their poker face on. That was just for their image. That wasn't for Jonathan Majors. That was for their image. Because while he was going through that whole process, they had reached all the way out and pulled Robert Downey Jr. all the way back in and sat down and worked out how much money they were going to pay him. So that was fake. It wasn't about innocent until proven guilty. It was about, we're going to let him co-stone up out here because we don't like his black African features and his black masculine features. Let's just say black masculine heterosexual features. And we don't want that parading around our screen because we don't know how that's going to come off. That's how I feel about this whole thing. I think Disney, number one, I think the artistic people at Marvel Studios who really need to recast T'Challa quicker, but they may not be able to because the higher ups of Disney may be holding them back from doing that. I think they pushed Jonathan Majors to the forefront because he is an acting and dramatic powerhouse. And they were like, hey, this works. And I think the higher up in executives at Disney, who, how can I say this? They may have had their Klan hat turned backwards and they didn't actually see Jonathan Majors. They probably read about him on paper. I think that decisions were made, and I think their attitude was, well, we'll just go ahead and do this, but not really do this. I think that's why we got that raggedy ass ending at Quantumania. I think it was changed, but I don't want to sound like a broken record. You look at the other videos I have about that because that was so choreographed. But back to the pivot. When he came up in there, and he was the best part of Quantumania. I mean, I got my money's worth out of my movie ticket because the first half of the movie, I'm like, but when he came up in there, they were like, huh? And they saw it in the movie theater and they're like, we got to redo this ending. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. What, couldn't he have been a light-skinned Negro? I bet they were. I bet they wanted some. I think had he looked like Smokey Robinson or somebody or El DeBarge, I think he would still be Kang to this day. If you have that acting talent that Jonathan Majors have, and you put it on El DeBarge or Smokey Robinson or who else can I think of? Um, since they love throwing Michael Ealy up, who's happily married. If it was Michael Ealy, they would have jumped all the way over. That's what I think. That's what I think. But I think that's what they wanted. And then you have this man who can deliver the goods you need for this character. And I really think they were like, well, we got him. We can't ditch him because then everybody know how racist we are. Let's make sure this movie don't work out. And that's why they changed the ending. And, there's some stuff floating around on the internet that Jonathan Majors' love life was arranged by Disney. And I'll let y'all go look that up yourselves. I don't know. I don't know Jonathan Majors from a can of paint. But I'm just talking about what I sense and what I feel and what the stars and galaxies are bringing me. Okay? I'm channeling things. And I'm asking the universe, show me what's going on. And the universe does. And the universe tells me Disney's racist ass didn't want Jonathan Majors there. And he was producing and performing and delivering everything that we needed to see, and they still didn't want to stand behind him and push him forward. You had all those other actors who had all that law trouble that they were guilty of, and you have someone who was, as they say, guilty of something unintentional. Unintentional. So therefore, that's accidental. And you got to give him the axe, and he can't never come back. You're going to go ahead and redo the whole phase. You're going to pull Robert Downey Jr. back. All that stuff. No. You didn't want that black, what is it? Master's degree from Yale, dramatic powerhouse having black man to be the face of your franchise. That's what you didn't want. That's why you look racist. And while we're pivoting and we're pivoting back over and pivoting, I think black people should look at the true optics. And the true optics is that Disney is a racist company. That's the true optics of this. They could have easily said, and this thing, like I said, I may have said this before, we're standing by him. He's innocent until proven guilty. That was just a front for your image. You really didn't care about dude. You didn't care about dude. That was for your image. Okay? So that's what you had to do for your image. And we still see right through it. Because you were trying to look holier than thou. And, now we know you're the devil. Because the way you moved so quickly after they found him guilty of something that was accidental. You were waiting in the wings for that to happen. You were on the edge of your seat. And you got that to happen, and it happened. And you didn't stick with him, honor his appeal process, nor did you have a press conference and break down what this charge, which I call a label, means. You didn't do it. So now we all sat up in here and we got to see where, they got to drag him. He's a woman beater and all that stuff. And it's funny how he's a woman beater on cue. Because before he got near a Marvel contract, he, what they said, he was the internet's boyfriend? Before he got the Marvel contract. When he got the Marvel contract and then zeros came up on that check, then suddenly here comes all this stuff out on cue. And I'm going to tell you something about a lot of black actors. That's a very, very, very difficult field. You just don't wake up and become an actor and then get into the movies in 6 to 9 months. It takes a lot. There are people who have been acting since they were in high school, and they still are barely scratching the surface. That takes a lot, and you really got to have what it takes in order to work your way on to an MCU movie. There's got to be something to you. So it's not like these people are just, oh, well, we'll just pick that one and that one and that one. They're looking at what have you done on stage and in theater, the plays. They're looking at all of that. The movies you have been in, TV shows you have been in. They're looking at all of that. And this guy got through that. So apparently, he's the real deal. But that doesn't mean anything. You know why? Because here's the thing. In America, you can have the education, the job experience, work experience. You can have the knowledge and know-how of your craft / job, whatever it is you're doing, and still get absolutely no income off of it. Why? Because, as Dr. Cleo Monongo would say, racism doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. You can't compromise with it. It's not going to make sense. It's just a destructive animal. So while we're talking about pivoting and all that stuff, and we're talking about the image of this guy who they really try to assassinate, and that's scary to me that there's a formula now to assassinate someone, like their career. If you want to be a star, actor, actress, there's a formula now they can do to assassinate your career. All that stuff. I'm going to tell you something. If you're a fan of Jonathan Majors and you like his work, you like his art, if you're a black person who has that sense of self, blackness, consciousness, black consciousness, if you're woke, don't give Disney any money. As far as these Marvel movies, hey, watch them, just don't pay for it. If you see it at the barbershop, you see it at the barbershop. They got their Disney Plus membership and you want to see it at the barbershop, okay. But I wouldn't have that stuff at my home. I wouldn't pay for somebody to show their racist behind on somebody else. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't. Why fatten their pockets? They're not going to fatten yours. They've got some actor, some writer, some director with their finger in their eyes, talking about what they can and can't do. And you're financing that. I seriously doubt right now. I think they've already put an axe in Kang's storyline, and that's a wrap. And I think this is a learning experience for black viewers who love the fandom and love everything that those wonderful characters, because Marvel has wonderful characters, who love everything that Marvel stands for. But I think this is a learning experience for them to understand that sometimes it's not about the pitchforks and the torches and all that stuff and to say you want, black rights. Sometimes the best black rights you can do is to put your money back in your pocket. Put your money in your wallet. Put your money back in your purse. And don't pay for racism. I think we need a new hashtag, Disney So Racist. After this whole Jonathan Majors situation that has happened, if this is what you want to do and these are the optics you have put out, then we will hold you to your optics. Because had this been any other star, I really feel something would have been worked out. But you wanted a public crucifixion for this black man. We don't have to pay for that. We don't have to pay for that. Y'all love yourselves. Be safe. vote, and love all your tribes. Y'all have a good day. And keep your head up no matter what.